One, and we're live. This is the Nifty Alpha. I'm Pio. I'm here with my co-host Nifty Nick and the Sophisticated Art Speculator. And this is the Trade Talk and Market Discussion Show that is a continuation of our Twitter Spaces. Today we are discussing one of the blue chip NFT projects, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you appreciate the content. So Nifty Nick, you are an owner. You're the only person here that owns a Bored Ape, which is premium membership to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. You also own Mutants. I own a Mutant. Sophisticated Art Speculator, you have Mutants on fractional.art, I believe. What, Nick, are your thoughts on the current state of affairs with the Bored Ape Yacht Club? Let's kind of dive in and talk about, starting from the beginning to where we're at now.
So I think it would be useful there's so much stuff to discuss about Bored Ape Yacht Club, but the first and most important is that I own two of them, two apes, and that neither of you do. So I would say that I'm much more experienced with the subject matter. As it applies
and that's very painful for me because Nick is the guy that told me to get into apes. He said you need to get in when they were like 0.3. And then he messaged me another time. He's like, no, like you really need to get in. And they were like 0.7 or 0.8. I had 12 at one point in time. Wow. 12 at average cost 0.9. I had a cyborg guy. I had a pimp fur coat. I had the noise skin. I had a matching Bored Ape hat and shirt. So life's a little painful. Yeah, this is going to be a tough episode for me emotionally.
That's a painful one. So let's go back to the beginning and discuss what brought us into this in the first place and sort of the beginning of this and how this is contextually relevant for everything else that we've been discussing for the entirety of Nifty Alpha. And I think that is a key element here. I don't know if you want to bring up the website, Pio. It would be useful to display the homepage. And I think the context of this is so important. So let's start at the beginning. Bored Ape Yacht Club did not initially sell out. It was the first real 10K PFP project to follow up to CryptoPunks in 2021. I don't know if you're able to shrink that window so we can see it, but whatever. The main situation there was people all looked at this and said, oh, holy shit, this is well done. And I think from that standpoint, if you scroll down or if you click enter, you can check it out. We're still listening to that. Still haven't solved that listening to your mouse problem, but that's all good. We'll get there eventually. If you want to go in, you want to check out the entry. There were other projects that existed at this point in time, but what was really at that moment, Voxys is one of them that comes to mind. There were a few others, and all of those were using something called a bonding curve in order to price their NFTs. So everyone was seeing these FOMO ramps essentially, and no one wanted to, but you wouldn't want to buy them after the first 25% sold out because it was so freaking expensive, basically. And Bored Ape Yacht Club came in and said a couple of things. One, look at our dope art. And the second thing is, in addition to our dope art, we're not doing this FOMO ramp. It's one flat price, I believe 0.08. And so it didn't sell out initially. It was active in some Discords. It's incredible the background sound that comes from your mic, but it's cool. In terms of at that time, it took a moment to sell out. But then what happened was Pranksy bought a bunch, Jimmy bought a bunch, and a couple of other people all aped in at the same time. That night, the way I got mine was at 4 a.m. or 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. And I came outside and I was on my phone and I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw everyone was jumping into this. And I was like, oh, this is a thing. Like this is a thing. So I went on to, it sold out right then. I went on to OpenSea. Don't boxers, but whatever. And I go out onto OpenSea and I just picked up one. I immediately saw that I had a 1% trait, which was the cowboy shirt.
What'd you pick
And
it up at? Do you remember?
0.14.
Hell of a
So
scoop.
that first one was 0.14. I thought it was underpriced. Or it was mispriced by about, and now at this point, it was mispriced by about 39 ETH. So no, at that time, that wasn't the case. But if you can see over here, I have that ape sitting on my wall. I don't know. There you go.
We see it. Yeah, we see it.
And so I ended up at 0.14 with that one, and it kept going up. At that point in time, understand this, like there was a new wave of NFT collectors coming into the space. There were people that had been in Top Shot. There were people that had been on Nifty Gateway, but they hadn't jumped into the collectible space. And the only thing that was really standing strong at that point was CryptoPunks. But even then, it wasn't like necessarily viewed in the same way. It was just viewed among that particular group of sort of OG people that were in the Punks Discord. And that was the hub of activity in sort of the collectible NFT space, Ethereum especially. And so, and a lot of OG crypto kitties, people like that. So like, basically, once everyone wanted to have a punk, couldn't afford a punk, was not about to spend 10 grand on something, saw this happening, saw some OG crypto punks enter the space. Pranksy and some of the Pranksy was not who he is today. Like only like the people that were on the pulse knew who he was or who Jimmy was. And so that was what took place. And it pretty much took off from there. It was I'd say it was gradual, but it was like your 0.14 was suddenly 0.3. And you're like, whoa, this is cool. Like I've never experienced this before. And everyone that's holding the NFTs at that point had not gone through that sort of pump. So the first little bit there, it like they just sold out all of a sudden. And that was like a huge deal. One of the guys who came on my podcast, Top Shot Fund, he wrote an article about this at that time. This was like a notable thing, just selling out the project for $1.4 million. Everyone said, oh, holy shit, this is a big thing. And they crushed it. And they were like, they became sort of icons at that moment in time. So that's back in like what, March, April?
So it was April. So the thing that really caught my attention about the Bored Apes right off the bat was they took attention from Beeple's first drop after the $69 million sale. And so that's pretty crazy. You know, it's kind of like when an artist that's lesser known drops an album like the same day as like Kanye West, at least back in the day when it actually mattered when albums came out. It's pretty crazy that they were able to take attention away from Beeple. And I remember seeing memes where it was like, you know, the guy walking with his girlfriend, then he's like turning around and looking, and the thing he was turning around and looking at was Bored Apes, and the girlfriend was Beeple. Because when you think about it, Beeple had done that $69 million Christie's sale, which kind of set the whole NFT market totally on fire. My personal story around this time, like Sophisticated Art Speculator, I had started on Nifty Gateway. I started in February. And so I started early enough where I actually could have made a killing because I was buying and buying and buying, and I bought some good stuff. And at that time, like basically everything went up. So if I had sold for profits, I could have locked in really big gains. But instead, I actually held. And when the bubble burst in late March, I just basically watched my portfolio, which I deployed about $25,000 of capital into in like a 30-day period, you know, using credit cards, which is pretty gnarly, just basically shrink to like literally being worth like $5,000. And so at that time, I was making NFT content, but I wasn't deploying more capital in NFTs. I was thinking really binary about it, which isn't a good idea at all. And that's when Bored Apes dropped. But the most bullish indicator that I should have known was a reason to buy Apes. I mean, I wanted Apes. I just
was
had
Nifty
like
Nick
this
buying one, right? Was Nifty Nick aping in? That was probably the primary tipping point for most people.
there was a hard and fast rule in my mind where I was like, I can't deploy more capital now. I just need to learn, don't deploy capital, blah, blah, blah. But all like the notable artists like Fuck Render, Swolf Chan, Ted Chin, I mean, really the list goes on and on and on. They all changed their profile pictures to Bored Apes, and all of like the sort of NFT influencers that I followed changed their profile pictures to Bored Apes. So for people to really represent themselves and kind of put their reputation on the line like that, it made a really big kind of impact on the way I thought about the project, but I still didn't take action. And we all kind of know what happened from there. Yeah.
I mean, I'd say in general, yeah, you messed up.
And didn't these, you know, after the initial kind of mint and that, like, you know, every single mint, you know, you mint and there's like 1 week of excitement and then it cools off. Didn't Apes kind of cool off or kind of moved slowly relatively to most things for like 2 or 3 weeks after that, or like even maybe a month, and then
they dropped to below mint price?
Because I remember I got in on May 31st, Memorial Day, that weekend, and I remember it because it had insane volume that I had never seen before in NFTs. Like there was sales flying off every like 3 a minute, 4 a minute, and that's when you hit me up, Nick. And then that's when I like jumped. There was like just a catalyst where everybody was like, okay, this is like the real deal. You know what I mean? And they were flying off the shelves. Like I had never seen anything like it before. Not even on Nifty Gateway or anything.
Yeah. So it was slow then steady. And I think that the real key with all of this, and I should adjust my window, I just wanted to have something visual to show while you were sharing your story there, Pio, but you're welcome to run it if you want. The second thing that sort of occurred there, when I bought this, I was just like, I'm holding on to this thing. Like, I like this picture. Like that was the main thing at that point. I had something that I could use as my identity. And that was like such a key thing that it is underestimated, I think, by a lot of these different projects. There's HeadDAO and there's these other projects that come out, and the mutant cats and all these other different things. Some of them look legit, some of them do not. But the main point is not all of them are ones that like you want as your identity. And at that moment in time, this was a perfect replacement, a counter to CryptoPunks, which were 8-bit design OG. This was the Ethereum to Bitcoin. This was the alternative to CryptoPunks. And a lot of people that were in the NFT space that had joined in sort of what I call it class 2, wave 2, essentially, were now given an opportunity to post something as their identity. And that cannot be understated or overstated enough. It was so key because we wanted to be a punk, but now we weren't a punk. Fuck y'all.
And
now
was this,
I am.
This was the first like kind of true profile pic generative project?
It wasn't the first, but it was one that stood out the basically. One. And it had this like
compete against punk
hip feel to it basically that
Very
you were like they
really,
oh.
I mean, and they arguably created the collectible bull run.
Yes.
That we all just experienced. I don't even think arguably. I think they did. They created the initial momentum and obviously followed through to being, the number 2 project out there. I was thinking we could do 2 things. One is talk about why we think it's gotten to the price that it is today, and then maybe talk about then like the current state of the market and what our thoughts on that as well.
So before that, the one thing I would interject is it may make sense to discuss the context of like what Bored Ape Yacht Club delivered. Like what was the next thing that they ended up doing that I think that ends up sort of setting the context for some of this other stuff.
And are you talking about the airdrop? Because that was really significant at the time, right?
Yes, I think that was the main thing that that was really key. Well, 2 things. One was
they did that before Meebits.
No, Meebits had already happened. I had bought a Meebit actually and was just so angry about my Meebit purchase.
Right there. You just hissed.
I was so angry.
You were mad.
I was furious.
I remember we talked about that because that thing dropped all the way to like a 0.8 floor. That was a brutal pullback.
And you put in 10 grand when ETH is at its peak, they walk off. Where have they been? Like they've been MIA, and we're supposed to be like thrilled about the fucking collectible that we bought. Basically,
you're like that. I think you should leave meme after that. You're like, the world is so fucking fucked up.
Yes. And so coffin flop. So in terms of their project, one thing to mention is that they had a roadmap, and I think it's worthy to pull this up, Pia, because everyone's like followed suit on this as well. This was not like the standard.
So there's really three things that they innovated. They brought the collectible market kind of bull run and like almost set the standard for profile pick collectible projects that have come out since. They innovated in terms of laying out a roadmap, a vision.
Well, pricing was the key thing. No FOMO ramp, basically, where the later price goes up. So no bonding curve.
They got rid of the bonding curve because like Hash Masks had that, and
everyone at that time was doing it. Basically, it was common. You expected, and you saw the percent sold, and that was like half the game. It got everyone in early, but the projects would just stay stuck. And then, yes, the final thing is this roadmap, basically. And the context of this is important because, well, there was humor. So we pay back our moms. That's funny. There was also simultaneously the promise of the future, which was really interesting. And all of a sudden, it just literally sold out. And I think from this this aspect of the roadmap, this became a standard moving forward. What it also is indicative is of the fact that people did not expect their projects to sell out instantly. Now you drop an NFT and it's sold out within 24 hours. And if you don't sell out in 24 hours, you view yourself as a miserable failure, basically.
Yeah, because the next two projects after this, Bonsais and Gutter Cats, both had sellouts within an hour.
Yep, because everyone wanted to like have this same sort of experience at that point. And yeah,
because at this point, Bored Ape Yacht Club had just pierced 1 ETH, and so it was already at a 10x, close to a 15x. I remember people saying like, "Oh wow, that's wild." So the next two projects, everybody's like, "This is a thing. This is starting."
Yep, and so that took place. And what's crazy is it was on such a basic promise, right? Like you didn't know what was going to happen. There was going to be a merch store, is what they said. There was a lo-fi radio channel. They already did that. I mean, no one listens to that. Like I've seen other projects like duplicate that, but like who's hanging out at the BAYC on the BAYC lo-fi channel? Like
on the YouTube,
probably people whose like dad, like their number one hobby was like listening to ham radios. That'd be my guess.
Yeah. And then, the liquidity pool was another thing, which is just NFTX, I believe. And then Mutant Ape in breeding was something that they promised. So that was roadmap 1.
Wow. So they promised Mutant Apes out of the gate?
Yes.
That's I never knew that. That's cool.
I didn't know that either. They actually said Mutant Ape. That's pretty nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, and they even say NFT
That's
breeding.
crazy.
So, and at the time, I don't think breeding was a thing either.
There was breeding with Axie Infinity
was doing it. Zedrun was doing it.
Yep.
But they brought it over to like
the
traditional profile pick collectibles.
Yep. So we're now through this phase. We've taken off where everything's going well. Everyone's saying, "Oh, holy shit, these guys may be onto something." Anonymous people that we don't know. So like, what happens next? And real quick before we say that, hop in the Discord, the nifty.com/Discord. We'd love to have you there. And remember to smash that subscribe and hit that like. And then we'll keep going. So let's talk about the drop. So unannounced, out of nowhere, they say we got something big for y'all. And now this is something which like you talk about like token impact and things like that.
And you're talking about the airdrop here, right?
Yeah, Bored Ape Yacht Club has now multiple times gotten to a point where there's just insane anticipation, which drives the run up in the price. And this is the first one that happened, the run up to Bored Ape Kennel Club, basically. And I think they said something's coming. and then they drop it. I don't remember the exact sequence. I'm gonna have to look back to find that out. But at this point, everyone's saying, "Oh, holy shit!" and they get airdropped. We all got over 1 ETH basically. I actually stupidly sold mine at the one of mine at the on the crash.
Pre-reveal.
Yeah, post reveal, but it wasn't a rare. And then late in the game, after things had dumped, I sold one at 0.75. I still own one. That was stupid. But
I sold one pre-reveal. Guess what it was?
what?
Gold.
Gold.
There we go.
Oh man.
So
Oh man.
You have to feel pain to feel happiness in this industry.
I agree. I had a buddy sell or end up. He had one ape. He got one dog, and the dog was one of the most rare, 20 rarest dogs. He sold it for like 6 ETH during the dump. He probably could have sold during the run up
15 for that.
Yeah,
But
because
still, take a 6 ETH off an airdrop. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm still so the floor right now is 1.71. Yeah, because one of the things I thought was interesting about this project is that it still kind of fits awkwardly into the mix. I actually traded this a lot. It had a lot of pumps and dumps during the bull run that I enjoyed. Pretty much whenever apes went up in price, there was a delayed effect, and the dogs would follow it up, but like 12 hours delayed. It's guaranteed free money. You just buy 5 dogs. If price would go up like an ETH, dump them all, good to go. But yeah, it's interesting because it doesn't fit in necessarily as a profile pick. And you saw like Gutter Cat Gang with their like drops because they did dogs and pigeons, but they made them like profile picks. I just always thought that was like interesting about this, but I think the art was phenomenal. And where did they top out at the top of the bowl? Like 5 floors?
They were just
the
under
floor-
4, I think, right?
So yeah, and it's worth mentioning. So what ended up happening, and people keep asking about our security. I'm not going to tell you my security, but I can tell you that I have a ledger. But
I'll tell you my security. We'll get to the security after Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah. So basically, what was interesting is, I don't know if y'all recall, when we were on the Nifty Alpha morning show, there were people coming up saying the play is Bored Ape Kennel Club. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing that I've ever literally heard, because what happened was, the unfortunate aspect of them launching this was that it became an obligation where people were buying into it because they wanted access to Bored Ape Yacht Club, and they were hoping that they could get access to it, and that this would give them, some piece of future roadmap items. Unfortunately, what they were saying is, literally, guys, this is just a bonus. We're just hooking you up. Like, congratulations on having this thing. And then the market took it to a whole other level. And
I don't necessarily think that the market was incorrect. In the short term, they became incorrect because of Mutant Apes. Mutant Apes is what? Because I literally remember when Mutant Apes came out, the floor for dogs was still 4.5 in like a couple hour range when Mutant Apes came out. And I literally remember thinking in my head, I'm like, kennels are going to collapse, because like if you can trade a dog for a mutant ape, you're going to take that trade every single time. And so I sold one and then used it to buy a mutant, and now you see the price differential. Kennel Club's like 50% below mutants. So I think in the short term, people like write in the sense of like, okay, this is a derivative way or a secondary way to get access to be in the Bored Ape Yacht Club like ecosystem. But then Mutant Apes came out and they kind of like, you want a mutant, because mutants actually have official access to the community.
So exactly. And if I could just make a comment on the dogs, I think that long term the dogs will be like regarded as a cool collectible, and as the sort of Bored Ape stock just rises in general, right? Because we have no reason to believe that this will somehow have a fall from grace. Like, I just think that this is now established. Bored Ape Yacht Club, your thesis, Nick, that it'll go to a $500,000 floor. I'm totally, I think it'll go to $1 million floor, actually, over, I don't have a timeline for that, but over time. And then when you kind of think about that. I think that the dogs will appreciate in value, but it'll be the apes, the mutants, and then the dogs. And then maybe who knows what they do long term if they do another airdrop. I know they're going to put out a token. So there's a lot of different things that could happen.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happened. Dogs got in this weird position though. And
No man's
you
land.
saw a lot of people in the Discord talking about it. Paper D's talking about it having utility and roadmap. I think as it applied to the roadmap, I think it requires that you have an ape plus a dog. So number 1 is apes, number 2 is mutants, number 3 is ape plus dog. In terms of perks that come from it, was my understanding.
That doesn't really make sense because apes are already in the first spot.
Yeah, I know.
So they get 2 cents rewards. They win the gold and the bronze medal.
Wabam. Yes, that's correct. That's how that works.
I respect it.
So, well, it's just incentivizing you to say, hold on to this thing. And so there's a lot of people that are like, I don't know. I'm just not as bullish as people were saying about the dogs. I still own one just because I want to be able to get those perks. But I sold one off, unfortunately, at the wrong time. But you can't always perfectly time the market. But anyway, so that's the dog. So that's phase 2 of Bored Apes, and everyone said, "Holy shit!" In contrast to Larva Labs, which has been dead silent, it's not clear what's happening with Meebits. Nobody has any clue. I still own one Meebit. But
high supply, high price.
Like what people said was, wow, this team, which is completely anons, has back-to-back done successful drops and is absolutely crushing it. So like Bored Ape could have been hovering at like 5 ETH at that point or 8 ETH at that point. I don't know what the price was, but it definitely was not above 8 as far as I can remember. So you're at this price where you're seeing this thing at 5 to 8 ETH, and now you're saying, holy shit, I get this extra ETH, and everyone's saying, I want to be an ape. Like what the hell? Like, why am I not getting these things from my NFTs? And that's the overall sort of arc of the ecosystem at that point in time, is everyone saying, fuck, we got to do, everyone copied it. Everyone's done the exact same thing now. It's like, oh, we have an airdrop. Oh, we're hosting an in-person event. Oh, we're doing this like this other stuff. It seems like, let's be clear, like these ideas are not actually that brilliant to begin with. So I don't want to like over exaggerate the value, like the brilliance of Bored Ape Yacht Club. But what they've been excellent at is execution and timing. And those
do you think Bored Ape Yacht Club was planning their airdrop before Meebits came out?
No, because Meebits came out before Bored Ape, so I don't even think they had.
Oh yeah, they did.
I don't even think that Bored Ape Yacht Club thought that they were going to sell out, basically.
So so like, because this wasn't on the roadmap, mutants were, but this was kind of maybe like a
surprise.
Like a stopgap. This was like a surprise stopgap.
Yeah, because they were like, look, these projects take a long time to execute on. Mutants was like included breeding and this other shit, and they also had a scavenger hunt that was included, which was the final item on the roadmap. If you look at that contract, I was trying to find it today. No one was able to give me the link. But basically, that code was like quite complex. It just takes time to test all that, get it right. And the scavenger hunt that they did, the interface was like building a game. It was like a real escape the room type game sort of thing that existed there with insanely challenging puzzles. But yeah, their execution has been flawless.
So what I would like to ask you both is, what do you think got Bored Ape Yacht Club to where it is at today? Is there one defining reason, or was it a culmination of multiple things?
It's stacks on top of each other. It was first selling it out and defining that being this cataclysmic event, which triggered everything else that was taking place.
First mover advantage, right? So you got the first mover advantage. You got extremely high quality art and development and execution, which has gone on. It's just continued to be stellar execution. You have cultural relevance from the art when it got the approval of all of the artists and, key participants in the NFT space, and cultural relevance. That's why Supreme is worth whatever, Supreme gear is worth. It's the same thing. And people make comparisons between Supreme and Bored Ape Yacht Club all the time. And then on top of that, the the community that was built, like the engagement in the Discord. People really enjoyed participating in the Discord. You had guys like Herb cooking up crazy memes. You had guys like Tropo Farmer rising to prominence. There's more names that you can throw out there as well. So people really enjoyed being a part of the community and actually, becoming friends. It was almost like it was another first mover advantage in that regard, where it was like this unique community compared to the existing ones. And then I think the icing on the cake is the ridiculous price appreciation.
Well, so let's actually go. There were steps between those different things. The price appreciation, even up to like 1 to 3 ETH, was like, holy shit. Like, I think at that point, people are saying, whoa, what the heck? And what happened was, after the execution, after people taking note, after a number of things occurring, Pranksy sold his some of his apes to celebrities. I forget the first one that jumped in, basically. But at that point, it reminded me of like Google in the early days, and when celebrities would come hang out in their office to come check out this place. It was that moment, basically. So you had,
when Bored Apes were at 1 ETH at that time, do you remember what you thought the price could go to?
I didn't think it was going to be this, because I listed mine at, I think at one point at 3 ETH and delisted within hours, because I actually thought it was going to sell right away. I thought that was a high price at that point in time, because I was like, I went from 0.14 to 3 ETH, and then it was appreciating so fast that I immediately like canceled. And so within a couple of hours, and I mean, good thing I did, or I would have bought back in. I have no idea what would have taken place, but yeah, no one that bought at that point had any concept that was going to occur. At this point, it started getting to levels. I mean, it was always fun in the Discord during those moments, because you're like, 2 ETH, 3 ETH. Everyone's literally like posting memes of those numbers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was pretty crazy to like actually see that occur. And I think that that was like a moment when we were all together and kind of in that moment being like, this is nuts. And we're also still holding. And I think that was a thing where like that was bringing, honestly, the community. There's different types of community in the community. There's actually like people who have identities associated with Bored Ape Yacht Club. My avatar is, but I don't feel like I'm in there as an icon of the Bored Ape Yacht Club necessarily.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short.
But the main point is, there were people that were like participating in that community that were like really active in the Discord all the time. And then there's people like me who show up during like key moments, who like are basically
the favorite ape that I follow in terms of just like trading and analytics was D Farmer.
Yeah, D Farmer is incredible. His execution has been flawless. Like
one of the best traders. I'd say probably top 5 this bull run. I'd put him in top 5. Yeah. Yes. Really incredible. Great vision. I think he saw it better than definitely me, at least. Else I would have sold all of mine. You know what I think would be fun to get the listeners a little involved? It'd be cool. So this project launched in April 2021? I think we determined, right?
And so one person said IP ownership, which was a key thing that we didn't. We
forgot about that.
That actually was groundbreaking.
That was groundbreaking. Yeah, that's huge. Great call out, only in Austin. So April 2022, which sounds like a far way away, but we're actually in November, ladies and gentlemen. That's only, if my math corrects, like 6 months away ish. We're 6 months away ish. April 2022. Post in chat, what do you think the price will be in Ethereum? What do you think the price of Bored Apes floor will be in April 2022? We'll let the audience do it, and then we'll say where we think it could be at.
Right now, for context, the floor is at like 30 to 31. Let's see, 31.
Wow, it's low. It's low.
Not really. $150,000. Yeah.
Chris Cannon says 150 plus.
52, 80.
Laya says 52. Yeah, Magic says 80.
We'll let him go through.
And whoever gets the closest, we'll check back. We can see these comments, right? If we check back, we'll check back. Whoever gets closest, you only get one guess. Whoever gets closest, we will give you a gift in April 2022. I promise I'll still be around.
So most of them, Most of them are all above 50. That's pretty interesting. 45. Here's the thing. Like we went and got, I don't know if that fucking focuses. Come
We
on,
can't
man.
see it. Oh, the physicals. There, if you put it a little closer,
It's
yeah,
the
there you go.
sticker.
That's
There
good.
we go.
Yeah,
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
So like I'm like printing my stickers and stuff like that. That was so key. I made my own t-shirt. I have like my own hoodie that has a hat. I have my own hat with that. So
Well, look, once the apes got culturally relevant, that's when the IP ownership really matters, because then you can actually build a business on the back of your apes. And we're seeing this with the Bored Ape Coffee Company. We're seeing it with all of the NFT derivative projects like Jenkins the Valet, of course. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Well, there's a couple interesting things to consider. One is in Q1 2022, the token will come out. So that'll be very
nuts.
interesting. Yeah, because I mean, there could be a potential chance where like the token appreciates, much more than the ape itself. But by owning the token, you still have, realized the same upside. But it looks like we have two camps of people out there. One set of people say this is going to the moon, 100 ETH plus. And then there's another camp of people that thinks it's going to be between about 45 and 65, 45 at the low and 65.
which is crazy because we only have one person that posted below 40, which to me is just mind-boggling, because in my mind, I'm like, I'm ready for this to drop down to like 17 ETH or something like that, or 15 ETH. Like,
well, the question is what is the price of Ethereum in April 2022?
Exactly. And so I think the price of Ethereum might be slightly higher than what it is now. Like, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not an on-chain analyst, and I'm not a technical analysis expert. But like, when I think about it, if things go the way that we kind of expect them to go, and we get a blow off top in Q1, Q2, well, April is the start of Q2. So if the blow off top is happening right there, then the apes will maybe be cheaper when priced in ETH than they are now. If that's after the blow off top and we're getting a huge dump, then you could really see them rip. You could see them rip to like 50 plus. So
and
I
that's
guess if I
very
was
interesting, PO, because of what you were there, but in 2017, Bitcoin had the blow off top, peaked, and then it was like ICO season the next year, right? It was like you could still make a lot of money trading altcoins and ICOs and all of that. Do you think, PO, that after this kind of token bull run blow off top, do you think that there was like a blow off top bull run in NFTs after, or does it kind of take everything down with it?
So first of all, I just want to clarify, I was not a participant in Bitcoin, unfortunately, in the 2017 time. That would have been awesome if I got in that early. I started studying it in March 2020. But what I do think will happen is I do think we'll have an NFT bull run after the Bitcoin and ETH blow off top, because when ETH starts crashing, I think NFTs will start, pumping. And I mean, we had people talking about the ETH 2.0 proof of stake thing. I don't know anything about that. I don't know how likely it is for that to really happen in the next 2 years, let alone 6 months, but some people seem to be optimistic about it. That could have an impact. So there's so many moving parts here when you start to think about what the market dynamics are. The other thing that we haven't talked about is if a Coinbase or a Square or a Robinhood comes in and actually implements an effective Nifty Gateway style platform that's got a better user interface than Nifty Gateway and covers the gas fees, because I don't know if people realize this, but Nifty Gateway, you can trade like creatures and Bored Apes and, these notable collectibles that are accepted onto that platform without paying gas fees. There's typically a premium because of that and because of other factors, but that could be a real game changer if a platform takes on the gas fees, and it could inspire people to get back into NFT trading. I think right now we're almost in like a little bit of a bottom between everything that's going on, from the high gas to the appreciating ETH to, just the general market conditions. What were we going to say, Nick?
I was going to say, why are we stuck on this mutant that looks like it's like throwing up items?
Because
You're
because
muted,
I was
Nick.
talking.
Nick. I'll tell you what, if you're a single NFT and you're trying to get a lady, making that your profile pic, surefire way to, get at, maybe even make that your Tinder profile pic. I actually wonder, are people using NFTs on Tinder? I'm married.
If I had a Bored Ape, I would. If I had a Bored Ape,
right?
I definitely would,
Yeah, great way to attract a certain demo of interest.
I'm literally just going to show my Bored Apes and Mutants. You just scroll through and it's NFTs. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
this is all I want to talk about. Yeah, hey, that's an idea. Dating app, but you use NFTs. Someone make that. There's some money that you could probably get $1 million in funding.
All
Real easy.
you're saying is that I'm rich. Like that's literally all this thing.
Yeah,
Check out.
It's the biggest flex of them all.
But you might as well show your stock portfolio. Yeah.
The interesting thing is if the prices, are crashing and we get an NFT bull run, a lot of the newcomers didn't have to experience this. What's interesting is a lot of newcomers, they experienced a very unique NFT bull run where ETH ripped and NFTs ripped. And that's why some people are sitting on so much money because they literally.
I love
you like that one better?
thing. You crushing 4 liters of milk over. That's what
it's actually water and steroids mixed together. I'm getting back into working out. We're in a bull run, but I actually switched to a civilized cup because I realized how hick that was. So what was interesting is a lot of people, they dealt with ETH going up, NFT bull run, which is why everyone's gains absolutely exploded. But in the beginning, when apes were like kind of getting their run, when they went from 0.6 to 1 to 2 to 3, people actually had to deal with like ETH crashing and NFTs exploding. And that was so interesting because I literally remember doing the math and I'm like, okay, I bought this at 2,400. ETH is now 2,000. So I'm down 20% on the ETH, but the NFT's up 60%. So like, am I break even or have I made money?
So I wanted to say a couple of things about, or what I think is useful.
Nick, what do you think the price is going to go to? April 2022. We want it live on air so we can go back to this moment.
I'm bearish, dude.
Say
I'm holding mine.
I didn't ask that. Say the number.
15, 20.
25 ETH.
25 ETH, PO.
For April, I think it might even be at 22.
22. Okay.
April is a specific time. If you said July of next year, I have a way different response. But April is right in between Q1 and Q2, and we could be in the throes of the bull run for big. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oof.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the contrarian panelist take. I'm gonna go with 50 ETH floor.
Wow.
Okay.
I
think me and Nick are closer.
So, well, obviously that's why you guessed it. So in terms of, I think, in terms of one thing that we didn't hit on, and I want to get to the mutants because we just showed it on the screen, but we didn't discuss it in terms of someone who stumbled along this video and wants to understand something other than us.
What is this shit on the screen? Is this like when
this is a derivative project? I don't know why he went to this one first, but basically,
it's a dope project. It's a dope one.
What's the
main point is 0.74. So one of the I have seen the Walk Island. So in terms of something to, it does look pretty cool. In terms of,
I have some questions for you too.
But real quick, I want to set the context. And someone mentioned this. And it comes back to the IP. Before we get to we even finalize the mutant side of things, which I think we should hit on, is that the IP side of Bored Ape Yacht Club is so undervalued. Basically, an entire community of people are building businesses through which the Bored Apes are their brand 100%, and they're investing millions into that brand. So from that standpoint, that's a huge thing. And I think what we've seen is a bunch of derivative projects as a result of this. We've seen copycat projects, a bunch of ape copycats, and then we've also seen a bunch of derivative projects. And all of those have just added value to Bored Ape Yacht Club. How many MAYC derivatives have you seen? Basically none. You've seen some try to copycat it with the voxel style art. We've seen that occur. What do you did you lose something on the ground there? Like
my keyboard disconnected, which is kind of bizarrely interesting. I'm not sure how that happened because it's in the back of the computer. But
so this was like insane. We haven't seen any other project. Name one other project.
Can you even do a derivative with a MAYC? You don't own the IP.
You don't, and you're capped at 150,000 per year is what they did with that.
So why put in effort to be capped at a middle class salary.
You wouldn't.
High
So
upper middle class salary.
Gutter Cat Gang, I think they have nice art. There's people that are doing interesting things there, but I have not seen any really, to a significant level, launch serious derivative projects other than Bored Ape Yacht Club. I don't know if you can name one, like literally name one other than Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Serious derivatives besides BAYC. No, I don't know if I can name something serious. No.
There's none. That's
Mutant
insane.
Cats?
That is insane. No, Mutant Cats is what, a derivative of Cool Cats, but more of a copycat of Cool Cats.
Zombie toads.
Those are copycats of the project,
you're right.
but no one's built a brand out of their main, out of their toad. So that's the thing that I think is crazy. We get the point with this ticket, but I think that we just got this thing of rotating.
Everybody,
there.
Nick's gonna run the
one
thing
more
from
spin.
now on. Go ahead, Nick.
So
what I was gonna say too is like the IP, when you think about like Arizona Iced Tea and these other brands that have actually acquired Bored Apes, people I think at first didn't really appreciate the significance of that. But once these things again are culturally relevant, and if you look at the Mutants, for example, the thesis that I gave for the Mutants, so we'll get to the Mutants now, is that they are better for like creative projects, like for example, like a slasher comic book or a slasher movie where the mutants are like the characters in like a movie theater or in like a fictional, city or something.
Hold on one sec. Someone asked, "Do we know what Bored Ape Block Art Club is?"
Yeah. And I'm currently looking that up. So I hope you're not the piece of shit that I think you are. But
who?
Well, there's 2 collections on OpenSea called Bored Ape Block Art Club, and they were made 5 months ago.
You can go to D Farmer. He is minting right now this project. Yes.
Okay, where is it?
So the website is boredapeblockart.club.
Because
he's minting it.
Because also people can mint to famous people's wallets.
0.08 each. What is going on here? Why is this at this price? These look like crap.
Yeah, I would be very skeptical of this because people can mint to other people's wallets.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, these look like crap,
30 ETH floor. This is so stupid.
Yeah, don't scam, dude. Like, there's so much opportunity to be made in this space if you actually are.
It feels like a scam, yeah.
Let's pull it up. There's 7 holders, 15 transfers. If I'm looking at the right one.
There was no data on the project on secondary market. I don't think it's worth talking about. I think we should move on.
Yeah, let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, we just got a scammer in the comments. And it's on MEC, so it's definitely a scam.
Yeah, so Mutant Ape Yacht Club, right? This is the airdrop where I think everybody was interested in an airdrop, and they blew it out of the water in the sense that they airdropped the mutant serum, and you could actually use the serum. So again, some innovation in the way that they approach the project. I think both of you have really, really cool stories when it comes to the Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Sophisticated Art Speculator, especially.
And real quick, I just want to apologize to Alex. I thought maybe you were scamming. Maybe you were just following someone and getting caught in a scam. So just to clarify to people out there, it's happened to my wallet before. People can mint to famous people's wallets. I'm not saying I'm famous, but people can mint to Pranksy's wallet. They can mint to D Farmer's wallet. They can mint to NFT Nick's wallet. They can mint to Pio's wallet and then go around and tell people, hey, Sass, Nick, and Pio are all minting this, but they haven't actually touched it. So that's when you have to do your own research and look at things like, okay, what's the volume of minting? Because D Farmer is not minting a project with 7 holders in it where no one has touched in a while. So I just want to educate.
No issue there, Alex. Actually, this is a situation that a lot of people fall for. Now you're at least aware. Basically, my minting tracker actually shows all of these. I don't know what Pio's doing exactly. It's like he's going on a walk with his dog in the middle of the stream, but that's cool. So let's discuss the mutant aspect.
No problem,
of
Alex.
things.
Wish you the best of
Yeah,
luck out there. Get that guap. Yeah, Peter,
absolutely.
you want
My
to lead us
bad.
through Mutant Ape?
Well, I was just gonna, yeah, my dog's got the zoomies, but so check it out with Mutant Ape Yacht Club, right? So, like I just said, they dropped in a very innovative way. It was incredibly anticipated. It was base stealth drop on a Saturday evening. I was fortunate that I was able to mint one for a good price. I believe I got it for 2.825 total cost with the gas, which is awesome. But I know you two both have really interesting stories when in relation to Mutant Apes, and I don't think we've ever really talked about them in depth on the show. Why don't we start with Sophisticated Art Speculator? I believe that you were going to go and take a bath or something. That's what was happening.
I had the Epsom salt laid out. I had some nice lavender bubbles ready to go. It was going to be therapeutic. We were deep in the NFT bull run. I needed a little zen time. And I wanted to take, a pre bathroom break. Man, I'm sitting on there just scrolling through my Discords. And I usually get mad about the Discord notifications on mobile when they pop up. But this time something popped up and it was like, you can mint these. And I'm like, what? And I click on the Discord and people were saying you can mint Mutant Ape Yacht Club, because what people may not know is that they had announced that there was going to be like serum or like some sort of, like, basically it was going to be free to claim for people that had apes, but it wasn't known to the community that anyone was going to be able to mint it. At least I don't think so. And it was a stealth drop. It wasn't pre-announced. It wasn't like it's going to be on Saturday at this time. And so I immediately ran downstairs. When I got downstairs, only 700 had been minted. And I bought 2, and it continued to move slow for a period of time because it was a Dutch auction, right? And I was worried that like I minted way too early, but it was just that it was a Saturday night stealth drop and it was on no one's radar. And the reason why I kind of like it is it almost allows the ape community to get the word out about it going down versus just like, so it's almost like a, access kind of thing. Like if you're friends with apes and even if you don't own one, if you hang out with apes, like they kind of had the heads up on it. And so I thought that was really cool. But I ended up minting 5. In hindsight, I wish I minted 50, but 5 was good.
And oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say it popped like right after the minting stopped, because then it really started picking up some steam that night. And then when the minting stopped, it zoomed to a 5 ETH floor pre-reveal. Like, because it did an instant reveal. It kind of
it got up to 8 ETH at one point, the floor.
Even pre-reveal?
Yeah. Well, they were kind of revealing, the data just wasn't refreshing is actually what happened.
Yep.
So you could go pick up, I'll tell my story in a sec, but you could pick up projects there by checking the metadata.
Because I had 5, and I remember I was like, maybe I should trim 2 of these, just take 10 ETH off the table, get my cost back pretty much, and ride the other 3 out. And I picked 2 IDs that I was going to do them for, but then someone was like, I just had like, I swear that like our future selves like tell our past selves to do things. Like yesterday, something in my brain said, look at Roblox, and I did, and it's up 40% today. I didn't buy, but something inside me was like, don't sell pre-reveal. And then literally one of the 2 that I was going to sell, I looked at the metadata and it was like traits that just sounded like bonkers. It was like, glowing eyes, this and that. And once the metadata reveals, it takes like, Nick, you know better than me, like 5 minutes to like parse it. And then what the rarity counts are. And so like in the private Discord, they have the rarity counts. And so I saw that like I had like a 0.1% trait and like another 1% trait. I'm like, holy crap, like this thing's gonna be worth some money. And then Nick, what was your mint story there?
So I knew that this was going down. I had reserved my day to go and do this Mutant Ape drop. I was like so excited. I was staying at the beach, and my fiance's family has a house there, or anyways, her family has a house there, and so we were at the beach, and I'm basically waiting. They went to the beach, and I'm like, I got to stay at my computer. This drop's gonna go down. I don't know when, and it was supposed to go down at like noon. and then it kept getting like delayed a little bit. And so at a certain point, basically what was going to happen was there was going to be the mint, and then there was going to be the actually, first was the airdrop for the serums for people, and then was the mint, and then you could use the serums on your apes after that.
We have two questions here real quick, and Nick, you want to answer them? What was the mint cost for Mutant Ape Yacht Club?
3.5.
Yeah, and then it Dutch auctioned down, right? Most people got it probably between like around 2.75, maybe blended.
Yep, between 2.5.
And then what makes the price go up before pre-reveal in simple terms? It's just demand exceeding the supply of people wanting to sell, because pre-reveal, a lot of people want to wait because it's like, am I going to get a rare one? But then also, if you miss the mint, like if you're just 30 minutes late and you miss the mint, you really want to get in. That FOMO causes a lot of projects to pop pre-reveal.
So yeah,
thank you, Allison.
And it's anticipation of it's also anticipation of like people are straight up gambling with some of those pre-reveals, and that they're hoping that they get a rare and that the price is going to go way up, because if you do get a rare, you end up making a decent amount of money like Nick did. In my case, I got airdropped 2 M2 serums, and your boy D Farmer actually falls into this story very quickly. I'm sitting on the deck of the beach house with my fiance, and I see that I got 2 M2s, and I'm like, oh, holy shit. And I go to OpenSea, and the bids keep going up: 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 75,000, $100,000 is what a bid shows up for. And no one's moving. No one had accepted any bids on any of them, basically. And
so before a sale, like before any real sales.
The mutants had not minted, so there were no mutants yet. And so I'm like, holy shit, because they were working through that. They got stuck, then they kept going. So there was there were delays. And so I get these 2 M2s, and I'm like, jackpot, holy shit. And I turn to Megan, my fiance, and I say, Megan, this is $100,000 for one of these. Are you kidding me? We're not going to take it. She was like, you don't know what's going to happen. You got to stay strong with this sort of stuff. And I'm like, we have imperfect information. We don't know what's happening right now. I was like, the right move in this case is to take the $100,000. Like, that is the correct move. So we don't. And then what happens is D Farmer swoops in and takes that 100 grand. And I'm like, I knew I was smart. I was like, when I see him take it, I'm like, okay,
it was a good play.
I'm like, that was a good play. So now,
Nick, I got a question for you. Did the serum come to a hot wallet or a cold wallet?
I don't want to talk about my security.
Okay, because just I was going to say that one of the scariest things in the world is when you're trying to do something quick and your ledger is spinning.
Oh yeah,
and you're just like, oh my, like someone else is going to scoop.
Yeah. So, in this case, it didn't matter because no one was moving anyways. And so I go and basically look at the contract. Someone leaked the contract address for mutants, and I go and read the solidity, and it says the mint price is 3.5, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm screwed. Run back, and I just start taking offers basically, and I'm racing other people. I ended up with basically $150,000 instead of 100,000. I ended up with 2 at 75 grand.
Yeah, 75 grand. And at the time, ETH was 3,000.
Yeah, so I ended up at
you took 20. You took like 40 ETH out of there.
45 ETH was what I got.
45 ETH. And in hindsight, incredible play.
It was maybe more actually. I think I could have gotten like 50. So I take out. So here's what the next step is. So now I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I got to move here. So basically, I'm not using the serum on myself because I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'll buy an M1. So I buy an M1 serum because I'm like, I got money off the table. Cool. Pick up an M1. Then I go and I start minting the mutants basically. And so I mint 2 mutants and I start scanning the floor. Now that minting's happening, the data's showing up on the floor, and I'm able to go and read the metadata off the contract. and I'm seeing M2 because it says M1 or M2, and I'm just I picked an M2 straight up off the floor, and I'm like, this person doesn't know what they're doing. I think I got that at like 3.5. I got M2 because initially the floor kind of like dipped for a period as they were flooding in. So for 2.5, and I'm seeing other people I know do the same thing. I'm sending them emails being like, bro, like, yeah, I'm like, dude, I saw you do that. Are you doing that manually, or like how are you doing that?
And Machiavellian said in the comments, the craziest move would have been to take the offer and then rolled it around into minting mutants. Take the offer and the M2
that was the
serum.
ultimate play. I minted a couple,
play, right?
but I should have taken all of them and put them into mutants. Would have been the most
basically taken
move.
a free airdrop to like a $500,000.
Probably more.
Because when you're selling at a 7/8 ETH floor, but I mean, just like the way that I think about this for both of you, you obviously had huge wins. I just think about Nick getting that one mutant, and for people that are, sophisticated art speculator, Nick, for people that are new to the NFT space or haven't really sold, they've done some good buys, and that's awesome. There's a difference between knowing how to buy and knowing how to sell, and they're two different skill sets. I'm definitely way better at buying than selling. That's for sure, no question. I think a lot of people would give me a hard time about that. I think Nick's play with that mutant is an incredible example of knowing how to sell. Because I remember you told me, Nick, you got this mutant. It was like the 100th rarest one, or whatever ranking it was in rarity, and you listed it at like 66 or something, and then you took it down and listed it at 88, and that's got to be one of the biggest flips. Like, you could not sell it for 88 at this point, so you secured the bag when the iron was hot and got basically a $300,000 bag off of one NFT.
Yeah, that was a wild experience. And the best part is that I priced it at 88, like thinking it was 88, like thinking it was a lucky number, and it actually worked out. That was the happiest email I've ever got in my life, was the OpenSea. I woke up Sunday morning, rolled over to my bed, checked my phone first thing. Item has been sold. It was like 3 or 4 other NFTs first, and then it was boom, the mutant for 88 ETH. It was like, I literally got a bottle of fine champagne and I plowed the whole thing down and just chilled in my underwear the whole day. I was like, I'm taking the day off. I don't care what I can mint, what I can flip. But yeah, I actually listed it at 66 ETH. Was like, it's not going to sell here. Dropped it to 50 ETH for 2 hours, then delisted it. And then before I went to bed, put it at 88. Got a sale. I've proceeded to give back about 26 out of that 88 and just stupid decisions.
That has become the that's what everyone does, but that moment was the peak of this NFT run. Like, there's no, we haven't seen anything else like that, and I don't think we're seeing, like, I don't know none of us know what the next reincarnation of that run looks like. Like, right now, you may be like bottom dwelling and looking for some interesting opportunities, but like, it's not the same opportunities as before. You're not playing the minting game, the mint and flip. And like, even then that game was running thin at that moment in time. Like, I don't know. And then mutants.
I remember getting this one and I was like, this is exciting, because like this one's gonna be a big one. And it had already starting to fade at that time. But you know what I didn't do, because we're talking about flipping into another flip. As I was drinking that champagne on Sunday, you know what idea I had? I should take every dollar of profit from this and create a metaverse land buying DAO.
And that was at that time.
And that would have crushed.
That would have 3x from there. So I would have rolled 88 ETH to 250, 300 ETH right now if I had made that play, and also had the conviction to hold it for a month and a half, which I probably wouldn't have, because I'm a pussy sometimes. But yeah, have you ever
listened to a Keyboard Monkey, his interview on Up Only? That was one of the best ones that I've ever listened to. If you haven't listened to that, I highly recommend going and checking that out, because it was interesting listening to someone who's had such killer trades. His gains have been he's potentially number 1 or in the top 3 basically in terms of gains of this run. He just had a bigger bag to trade. He ended up absolutely dominating this run, and he was talking about how paper-handed he is. Like the problem is like here's the main thing. If you ever ask the question, what the hell am I doing? These are just a bunch of JPEGs, which is a question that comes through your mind periodically.
Oh yeah.
And when that's coming in, there's no resistance to it, because that is the logical thing, is that this is wildly irrational. Like I'm flipping fucking JPEGs. That's the outcome of it.
And if you're not paper hand and you're not taking profit, and if you're not taking profit, then it's all funny money.
I love the comment.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I was going to say, I love the comment from Anthony, which is we have ape stories. We experience history and all have crazy IRL moments during this drop, which is literally it all touched us in one way or another. And that story in itself is what makes that Discord. It's what makes that community, is this experience. No matter how outrageous the whole thing is, we have all gone through it. And that's the story that kind of also keeps us attached to it. The real question is are other people going to value it in that same way? And that's something that we have not, gone long enough to determine, like, what way this ends up going. But yeah, I mean, that journey was quite an exciting ride, and Apes have had a volatile run experience.
It was a great run. It's never going to happen again. I'm actually dumping the rest of my bags while we're talking right now. It was nice to know you all. We're going to be rebranding the show to how to make money on the stock market. So we're working on that rebranding. That'll be coming out in December. And we'll be talking about how to get real juicy 10 to 20% gains per month trading equities. Just kidding.
You hear that? That's going to be really fun and exciting.
That would come full circle, because my original podcast was called The Stonks Show. And
Stonks.
So the Stonks Show included all this, and then I switched into NFTs. But we're not leaving the NFT space, y'all.
Master Nutter has a question. Is BAYC just a bunch of rich art critics? No. Just look at the line videos on Twitter waiting to get on the board Ape Yacht Club. It's really just normal people that bet on
the right
bet
thing
and went big. Yeah.
Yeah. It was we hit it at the right timing. Last thing I wanted to mention was Elliot had kept asking about best place to start. And there's a lot of people looking to recreate those wins. I still have friends now with more money than others that are saying, where do I go right now? It's a weird time. In terms of what you're saying, Elliot, I like the approach of going on Solana, to be completely honest. If you
look at stacks.
So I don't know enough about stacks to speak to that. I haven't seen wins in a major way on that yet. But like, I don't like being early to this thing. I'm wave 2 on literally everything. So but Solana, I've made gains on Solana, and that's why I would feel comfortable saying, yeah, go play in there. And that's where to operate. So yeah, should we, do we want to wrap with this? Gonna make it, not gonna make it?
Yeah, and real quick, security wise, because I know a lot of people are asking about security, and we'll do it in a second. So basically, you get like a cold storage device, right? So you have a treasure, and then this essentially acts as like the key. And so if you want to make like a vault, you can vault your MetaMask with something like this, and then I'll actually keep like a backup in the box just in case any BS goes down, so that I can just drop of a hat just come through.
And Pio, could you, because some people may not know how the seed phrase looks on a treasure or ledger, could you pull yours up and just go through it just to show people so they have a better idea?
And I think it's worth to just do a separate video on security, since this is the Ape one.
For sure.
And then we can do the rapid thing. One last thing.
And here's the thing. I'll just give you the 2 best pieces of security. Like you can definitely have a ledger, and that's important, but 95% of people don't get hacked because they don't have a ledger. 95% of people get hacked for one of 2 reasons. They expose their seed phrase in some way, shape, or form. So they type it into a website that's a scam, or they have it on their Google Drive and their Gmail gets hacked. So never have your seed phrase on your computer, on your mobile phone. Never take a picture of it. Always on a piece of paper. Hide it somewhere. Then you'll never get hacked with the seed phrase. The second way that you can get hacked is screen sharing with some random dude that's telling you that you just won a big prize, but he has to take a quick look at your MetaMask. That's
they disabled that, by the way. They actually just disabled that functionality so that you can't scan the secret phrase.
No, but there's a way that you can pull up your secret phrase in settings if you don't have a hot wallet.
Got it. Okay.
Because someone in Crypto Raiders got recently scammed that way. So just two things: never expose your seed phrase, never screen share, especially with someone that is telling you that you're awesome and you just ran a huge prize and they need to just check something real quick with you.
Well, let's do a separate video about security. The last thing is someone asked, if you're in my position where I own an ape and an M1 serum, what do I do? Do I sell the serum or make a mutant? I can give you a very direct answer on this. Two things. I did this. The market goes in phases. I did another flip later where I made a few ETH actually flipping M1 serums because there was a lot of hype over mutants for a moment. The floor on mutants got gobbled up and the price of M1s did not get gobbled up. So you could buy basically M1s at a 3 ETH discount to actual mutants. So you could buy them and then immediately mutate your ape and then flip it into the floor. So that would be the trade that I'd have there. In terms of finding out your price, you can go and find out what your ape is going to convert into by looking at the properties, because now they've all mostly been exhausted. So you can see what it's going to convert into and whether or not it's a common one or it's going to be like more rare or a great property. That would be what I look at, is to see, hey, is my mutant going to look great? If it's going to look great, then I go with the mutation. If it doesn't, I'm looking for an arbitrage opportunity with it. So you're sort of waiting and looking for the market to operate that way. So last thing, do we want to? Someone says drink the serum. It's not as simple as that.
1 minute, gonna make it, not gonna make it.
Then we're done.
So 1 minute, guys, put projects in the text.
By the way,
say whether they're going to make it or not going to make it.
And you can get on the whitelist by going to the Discord that Pio has on here. So do that. Divine Anarchy. Gonna make it, not gonna make it. About to reveal.
Not going to make it.
Not going to make it.
Robato's going to make it.
Although I have no idea. That one's a hard one, actually. Clone X.
Mutant Cat's not going to make it.
Do you know Clone X?
No, G-Vol's going to make it.
I don't know about G-Vols.
Bored Ape's going to make it.
Yakuza Cat Society.
Not going to make it.
Mutant Monkey Business.
Not going to make it.
Not going to make it. I'm not even familiar with it. Sneaky Vampire Syndicate. I'm going to say not going to make it. Sewer Rat, even though they had the Bored Ape artist, I hate the look of it. Sewer Rat Social Club. No.
Not going to make it.
Yakuza Cat Society. No. Party Ape Billionaire Club. It's doing well, surprisingly. But I'm going to say long-term, not going to make it. Sappy Seals. I'm just going to straight up offend people with this one. Sappy Seals, not going to make it.
Jungle Freaks, obviously not going to make it. Desperate Ape-wise might make it.
If you're trading projects like this, you should probably just go over to Solana where you'll lose less and maybe.
I think they're triggering us with Jungle Freaks. They have a really talented racist artist, I hear. So Super Yetis, NFT verse coming in saying going to make it. Going to say no. Impact Theory. It's going to be a long road.
Long road, going to make it.
Someone said, shut up about Jungle Freaks. You shut up. You're in the comments, bro. Galactic Apes. I like them. I don't know where they're going, though. Gambling Apes, definitely not going to make it.
Not going to make it.
Bitcoin Billionaires, not going to make it.
Not going to make it.
Crazy Camels, I know nothing about it.
Not going to make it.
Funny Poop Face. I haven't heard of that one. I'm just kidding. I made that up. Ape Gang. I think they're going to make it.
Might make it.
I'm biased. 2100.
V-Friend's going to make it.
Metasaurs or Space Punks. I'm gonna pass on those. Man, MMA Pod said, don't tell me to shut up. He's gonna fight you. So you don't want to fight someone with an MMA.
No, I don't know Clone X.
You don't want to get into that fight.
Is that that's the RTKTF? Yeah, they're 100% gonna make it.
Paris Hilton. She's been nice during this run. I don't know.
Cool Cats, Deadfellas, Crypto's all gonna make it. NFT verse. What up, Angel?
Except for Deadfellas.
Yeah, I think Deadfellas gonna make it.
Grills Gang. I don't know anything about that. Joe Biden. Unfortunately,
Jordan Belfort NFT, absolutely not gonna make it. All right, Smilesverse might make it, probably should make it, will make it long term. Everybody, please jump in the Discord. You can get on the whitelist for our NFT. Just saying, it's going to be 0.033 ETH, 3,333 mints, and will serve as a mint pass. We want you to come along for the ride. We've got some good stuff in the works. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, I don't want to signal anything about the NFT project other than to get whitelisted, which is the only act that you have and get in that Discord. Those are the only two things that you need to do. Get in the Discord. Remember that episode? What are you doing? Get in the Discord. Get in the Discord. Hey, and thanks for joining. The Nifty NFT, will it make it? I'm going to say yes, just because we're making it cheap. But you never know. You know, some of these things, they end up like people... idiots sell things at like 0.01 and stuff like that. And honestly, we can't control what people do. And we can't make...
What project are you talking about?
The one that we end up dropping. But we can't make price projections for our own. For SaaS, for a project. Oh, they're just asking in general, is a mint price at 0.12? Right now, that's tough, man. It just seems like there's still a lot of people trying to take advantage of the space. And it's like, why wouldn't you do more? If it's your first project, do more to hook your early buyers up. Like, hook them up. That's all that matters. That's why we're pricing it like we are, is we just literally want to hook people up. We can't guarantee what's going to happen. But you know, we're going to try and come up with some interesting NFTs. So,
yo, like and subscribe this video. Like and subscribe to this channel. Like this video.
What are you doing?
Please.
What are you doing?
Please. Do it.
All right.
We want to keep doing this stuff.
This is the longest video we've ever done. So you're welcome for blessing you all with our presence for that period of time. Holy shit.
Wise Gamer, like the video. We'll get our faces off of it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. See you guys.